Jonathan.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. God, it's so nice when you get those random days in early March that are like 50, 55 degrees.
So you got to knock on this fake wood that we don't get a snowstorm like next week. Because I mean, it is Chicago.
Oh Lord,
Chicago could drop another, 2 feet of snow on us like next week.
No,
You think it's over?
I think Monday is supposed to snow a little bit.
See, this is why you can't sing victory yet.
So tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be like 65.
Barbecue.
I think you said you're going to have women in sundresses in downtown, and then it's going to dump snow on us.
I'm going to totally take my scooter out tomorrow. How was work today, buddy?
Razor scooter?
No, I have a big boy scooter.
Play school?
I got a big boy scooter.
Fisher Price?
No, you're afraid of my scooter, so don't talk shit about my scooter. My scooter goes about 40 miles an hour. Don't play with me.
The day you bust your face open, you're gonna know why.
It's all right. It's well worth it. It's
well
worth it.
Death trap.
No, it's not.
$1,000 death trap.
No, that's the most. Let me tell you something. That is the most fun toy I've bought in my life.
I'm sure it is. So you hit a fucking pebble and flip forward and bust your face open.
That's okay.
How long you had it?
I've been having it. Well, I got into the craze.
Let's introduce our guest.
The guest first. We have another guest today. He's a director. I did a small part for one of his films last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yes, y'all. My name is Cornell Ford. Originally from Chicago. I'm a filmmaker, director, who started all of this stuff making music. So I'm actually a music producer and engineer first before film director and writer and author.
First and foremost,
awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell of a lot of talent there.
Yeah.
So what was your question? How long have I been scooting, right?
How long you been messing around with the scooters?
Okay, so here in the city, they started that stupid rentable scooter thing. Mm-hmm. They did it a couple years ago.
Just find them laying around in some alley, just random places.
Yeah, like they had the whole test project thing because that was real big, like in LA and all that, in those places or whatever. So one day, me and my friend, we were driving around and we saw them. We're like, let's rent one. Let's just see what it's about, right? So we rented them. It's fucking expensive though. And dude, I could not. It's gonna sound weird, but I couldn't stop smiling to save my life, bro. Like this was fun. This was the most fun I think I've had.
So where did you pick it up though? Like where did you get it from? Like where were you when we first?
Well, the ones I rented, you would pick them up anywhere because they were all over the fucking city.
Random places. Yeah.
So you would go and then you would get the app. So like one of the brands was like Spin, for example. So like you get a Spin, you get their app, you put your credit card information, and then it'll unlock it, and then you can just ride it. There's certain areas in the city you couldn't ride it or whatever. Like you couldn't go into like the financial district over there or whatever. But for the most part, you can go pretty far. So you rent it, go wherever you want. And then when you're done, they'll charge you whatever the rental thing is. It was so much fucking fun. I'm not even kidding you. So then the next summer we rented again. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't we just try to buy some? Right? Because when you buy something, there's no limit to where you can go. You can go where the fuck you want to go. You can put it in the car, take it to a trail, whatever. Because there's certain rules for the rentable ones. You couldn't put them in. You couldn't take them to the parks. You couldn't take them to the trails because they would just lock up because they're on GPS. So we bought some. Man. So we bought some, and then we just started taking them every which way. And the ones you buy are more fun because they're faster, more powerful, they're more comfortable, whatever. So that's kind of where it started. And then
how much is like a base?
Yeah, how much are you talking about, Michael?
Okay,
how much did you spend on that?
If you want something similar to what you can rent, you can pick up something for like $500.
That's it.
So
yeah, what about insurance?
It goes up. It goes up beyond. You don't need insurance for none of that. No, nothing. That's kind of the argument right now.
Oh, don't give Chicago
don't give them ideas because they're going to start. Pretty soon we're going to have to put city stickers. You're going to have to get a city sticker for a fucking scooter. Right. That's kind of like, I know you can go to Target right now and get a Segway one. It's like $400. It's a smaller end one, right? So it only goes like maybe 18 miles an hour or whatever.
I guess the point. How much is yours?
Mine was like almost $1,500. But it's built like it though. I mean, it's built for a taller guy like me. I'm 6'3". I mean, I couldn't ride a small one, and it goes up to like 38 miles an hour.
You ever rode a motorcycle?
I have.
Yeah.
It's almost like that feeling. It's unique though, right? I mean, you've never ridden a motorcycle before, right? You've been on the bitch seat of one, right?
No.
I was got to spit up.
You almost snarfed. No.
It's a unique feeling. That's why they're fun. You know, like a motorcycle's, dangerous just as much, right? Just as dangerous. I mean, you go even faster, right? So you
I have been on a bike and pedaled fast.
Sure. Okay. But it's different because you're pedaling. So I feel like it's not the same sensation. When you have a motor driving you forward and you're outside with all this air, freedom. Dude, it feels different. So think of a scooter. It's that feeling, but a little obviously slower.
Well, here's what scared me. My cousin had one, and my uncle jumped on it.
Who had one? A bike or a scooter?
A motorcycle. And so he got on it. He was telling him, "Oh, this is the throttle, blah blah blah." So he hit the fucking thing, and then there was a cemetery gate, and he just could not stop it. He put it full throttle and crashed into the cemetery gate. And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna do that."
I can see that happening. Getting stuck with the throttle, that happens. I mean, that's happened with me too.
Yeah, because you get spooked and you just, what the fuck
you don't let it go. You're just holding on to it, and the bike's gonna just fucking keep going.
All right.
But I will say, dude, if you've never tried one, try it. It's fun. It's a unique feeling. Yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, again, it's worth it for me. Like me and her go all the time every year. You know, so it's something that we do together. So
it sounds like fun too. You know, I probably would dig something like that. Just get out there and just cruising around for a little bit.
The best one's like going by the lake. So like the lake trail. So we'll go up and down that with the scooters. Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun. You know, it's fun. The only bad thing is, I mean, people are idiots over there. So like they see a scooter coming at like 10 miles an hour and they're just like, don't get out of the fucking way. I'm like, you do know if I hit you, it's going to hurt, right? Like it's going to fucking hurt.
They don't care. They don't move for cars. They're not going to move for a scooter.
Anyways, before we start and we jump into the whole directing and acting and all this stuff, let's talk a little sports for a second, because
March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Coach K having his last game tomorrow.
Is it?
That's his very last game tomorrow, and they play against North Carolina.
Legendary coach, man.
And guess how much one of the seats are cost? Guess how much the average? Well, I think the highest amount of the highest cost for one of the seats is $5,000.
Really?
Yes.
College at a college game.
Yeah,
holy shit.
With Duke. That's
got to be a hot ticket regardless, right? Because that's one of the best teams. That's one of the best teams every year. I mean, there's no.
And then it's his last game, so you're gonna have all the alumni from probably both schools show up. It's only like 9,000 seats that you can fill in Cameron Indoor, so it's going to be a lot of old players. It's
famous players too.
I mean, Grant Hill, Christian Leitner.
Oh yeah,
and those are the only two.
I mean, it wasn't like JJ Redick and Duke and all those.
Redick,
like they were all at Duke and
Jason Wilson.
Yeah, there's a lot of players.
Williams. I'm sorry. Yeah,
the one the one that the Bulls were supposed to pick up, and he decided to ride a motorcycle into a tree.
Yeah. Speaking of motorcycles,
that's right. He forgot to let go of the throttle.
Learn the lesson.
But I wanted to talk about the Lakers, because the Lakers are such a sad team right now. So they got blown out yesterday by the Clippers, right? Like, who's on the Clippers that you can really say is like, besides Beverly?
Jackson. Well, Beverly plays for
not Beverly.
He plays for the Timberwolves.
Who's the one with the goggles on the Clippers right now?
That's Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Paul George.
Paul George wasn't even playing. He's hurt.
Oh,
he wasn't even playing. So like I feel like it was and they lost by a lot.
Did they?
I mean, it was like almost one. I think it was 129 to like 109 or 110.
And Anthony Davis is still hurt, right?
Anthony Davis is made out of fucking glass.
He's never not hurt.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had a full season.
Hey, you know what? People get fooled. I think they look at LeBron James's body and they see like a strong grown man, but you can't hide your age. Like I could look kind of strong too, but I'm 38. I'm hurt all the time.
It's probably with the Lakers. It's more or less you got age, and you just you have a lot of egos. And you have age, and then you have a cohesive issue, a chemistry issue. I felt when they let Rondo go, Rondo was someone that can glue people together.
Agreed.
And
100%.
Caruso.
And Caruso too, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
look what he's doing. Well, he's not playing. I don't think he's playing right now, but
he's still hurt.
Look what he was doing in Chicago.
Yeah. And, you know, when you got Westbrook, because I know you want to talk about Westbrook. Westbrook, first of all, they're paying him way too much money. He didn't pay $41 million this year. That's a lot of damn money, man, for one person.
I think that's why he's reacting the way he's reacting.
Like he don't give a damn.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like it's weird because I was watching his post game interview, and like one of the reporters asked him like, so like what were your expectations? I don't have no expectations. I'm like, what do you mean? You play for the Lakers? This is where I agree with Stephen A. Smith.
Should
and I'm
say
like,
championship.
You play. This isn't like you're playing for the Magic.
Yeah,
you're playing for the Lakers. That's like one of the birth teams of the I know it's not one of the birth teams, but like one of the when you think of the NBA
iconic teams.
Yeah, there's a couple teams that automatically go in ahead in your mind.
Sacramento Kings?
No, definitely not the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers, the Boston Celtics. Those teams are like
Sixers.
What you
perhaps.
think of? What you think of as the Knicks or whatever. Like those teams, like the ones you really really think of. How do you go to the Lakers and not automatically like your mindset should go championship? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what comes with that.
Also too with him, he's from that area.
Yes, that too. They were criticizing him for that too because he's from LA.
Yeah, so
like you should know.
You should be a little bit more assertive.
Agreed.
Sometimes the entitlement button, it's pushed with a lot of players. Feel entitled. If I mess up, okay, it is what it is. I really can't speak on Westbrook, but when I watch him play, it's just. Sometimes it's just too sporadic, man. And the one thing I thought Rondo brought that Westbrook doesn't bring as much is a composure. He knows, okay,
Correct.
These mismatches, okay, let me just go ahead and facilitate this, move y'all out the way, let's isolate him. He knew how to coach on the floor,
right?
More or less.
He was a floor general.
He was more of a floor general. Westbrook sometimes.
He's got a Derrick Rose mentality.
He's out there.
Where I need to score. You know what I'm saying? And not that he can't score. I think he's a scorer. I just think that he's
not an efficient scorer.
Yeah, he's definitely not an efficient. He can't shoot worth a shit at all. He's just a horrible shooter. He takes a lot of shots. Like, I think he needs to. I think his time is kind of done. Mm-hmm. I think his era. Is he a Hall of Famer? That's debatable. I guess that's debatable. He has some pretty good games, and what did he have? Like he led the league in triple doubles like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, we talking about a career, or whatever. Though. When you say Hall of Fame, we're talking career, right? So those 2 seasons he did, the unthinkable. But what else after that, though?
No championships whatsoever.
You've been to what with OKC in 2012.
Yeah, that's as far as he got.
As far as he got,
and then they lost 4 straight to Golden State.
And
then they got eliminated.
So,
well, you know what? When they picked them up, a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Lakers are going to win the championship." But the smart NBA people, the people who know basketball, they were like,
I didn't like that pickup either. No, I didn't like that
stay
pickup
with
for
Rondo.
Nothing.
Stay with Rondo. A regular freaking point guard.
Because he does. He can potentially give you offense, but do you need that much offense with AD and LeBron James?
And Melo.
That's what I'm saying.
And Melo.
Yeah.
Melo's playing, pretty well for his age and what they're asking for. They're not asking him to be a fucking star anymore, but. I think he fits perfectly with that team because he gives you offense off the bench.
So
he
what
can
are
give you a
they
lot
now? They're like the 9th seed now.
I think they're out right now. As of today, I think they're out of the picture. They're going to be playing for the play-in.
And so, like, is it like the 6 through 9 seeds? They have to do this play-in game thing.
I think is it the last? Is it 6 through 9 or is it like the last couple teams?
I think it might be the last 2.
I think it's the last 2 teams that have to play.
So the 7 and 8.
No. So it'd be 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
8 and 9 have to play a play.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Which is bullshit. Like,
well, they're trying to bring some interest.
Yeah, but as it stands right now, it's almost like they did this knowing that they were gonna suck. Because LeBron James right now, he wouldn't be in the playoffs. He wouldn't be in the conversation right now. Like, there was no 9th seed.
You gotta look at parity too, though. Here's an example. You got these how many extra teams in the league, and then like the Eastern Conference has terrible records from like the 4th seed all the way to the rest of the league, and so they probably, I think the NBA was looking more or less to try to get more parity and interest because after the first 4 teams, you ain't really talking about nobody else.
Yeah, but that goes.
The sad thing is they want to add more. They want to put another team in Seattle and another one somewhere else.
What's the point if most of your good players are freaking congregated into particular teams? You don't have competition like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should just reset and do a full draft again and just start drafting players and to split them up. At least it'd be interesting.
They need to do something with the free agents. how they do free agency, because like you say, the balance is, 3 superstars out of the 10 that's on one team.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not
the other 4.
It's not fair. I mean,
only like
it's
4
a power
teams.
struggle.
There's only honestly like 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win a championship. The rest of them are just they're fucking space fillers.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think Westbrook needs to kind of. I don't know what he needs to. The bad thing is I don't know where you put him. Right? Even let's say he leaves LA. Mm-hmm. First of all, who's going to pick up his contract for the production that he's going to give you, which is not anything good right now.
I mean, a shitty team that he wants to go to and take over so he can pad his stats and hopefully get to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer regardless. I mean, they've let worse players go into the Hall of Fame.
I heard somebody,
and he's in the top 75 too.
Oof.
Was he?
Yeah, he was named top 75 this time. And then you know what that list. You know what pisses me off? And I saw him on TV the other day. You realize that Tracy McGrady's not on that list?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's not on the 75. I think him and Shaq had a really good conversation about that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'd pick him over.
That's crazy. There's a lot of players I can pick him over.
Yeah,
and some of them would hurt me to do. Like honestly, I love Klay Thompson, one of the greatest shooters to ever play. Mm-hmm. But how is he over Tracy McGrady? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got more championships. I get it, right? Because he played on a better team.
Tracy never made it that far in the playoffs.
It don't matter. We're talking about talent. We're talking about greatest player, not greatest team.
They take that into account. They take winning into account.
Tracy McGrady and Bill Walton. Bill Walton is like in the top 50.
Hey, I heard he was good back in the day.
He was good in college. Oh. That's like saying, well, Anthony Davis is another one that's on the list.
Yeah. So that just lets you know, prisoner is like the prisoner of the moment list.
Oh yeah,
this time around, more or less.
I feel like they had to like cram in new people in this list. Like Tracy's kind of the older school, if you want to call it, because he's been retired for a lot of years or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like they had to cram in a lot of the new players.
Chris Webber in there?
He is in there. No, I don't think he's in the top 75.
Well, then how
is he in the Hall of Fame and he's not top 75?
Obsolete then.
Come on.
It doesn't even.
This man is the greatest Chris Webber lover in the world. He's
he was all on the Fab Five there.
Yeah, Fab Five, Sacramento Kings.
Did you watch him when he went when he was with the Bullets and when he was with Detroit?
Sure. Or the Warriors?
Or the Warriors?
Yeah, he got drafted. He was supposed to go to Orlando.
Was he?
Is that who picked him up?
So he was supposed to go to Orlando, but they traded him to Golden State for Anthony Hardaway. Yeah. So
really?
Talk about
Damn.
I just saw that like a couple.
He was supposed to go to Orlando, and Penny wasn't supposed to. Basically, is what you're saying.
I guess they were gonna end up on different teams. Yeah, but they made the trade.
You know what's fucked up is that would have been if Penny.
God, imagine Shaq and Chris Webber as your front.
Fuck that! Imagine getting Shaq and an actual healthy Penny Hardaway, because Penny Hardaway was always fucking hurt.
Yeah,
not at first.
Yeah, not at first, but
but mind you, he was a kid. You get better as you get older, right? Mm-hmm. So Penny started having trouble with his ankles and all this bullshit like really early. And think about it like this: Tracy McGrady was supposed to be on that Orlando team with Penny.
Was he?
Yeah, because when he got traded to Orlando, he was the backup for Penny. Then Penny retired. Oh no, Penny went somewhere else. Where'd Penny go? But they were on the same team. They were going to be on the same team for a couple years.
Right, McGrady was on the Magic.
But he was going to be his.
So he was on the team with
Penny. With Penny. Shaq, I think, was gone already, but with Penny before Penny left Orlando.
Okay.
So they were supposed to be on the same team at some point, but Penny can never get back into the game.
Yeah, he started floating. He's going to Phoenix and.
Yeah, I mean, but he had. And the funny thing is, he has injuries that like now are not a big deal. The thing about technology is advanced, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like now you have like Westbrook had 2 ACLs. Derrick Rose had two ACLs or 1 ACL, whatever. Mm-hmm. Fucking Klay Thompson ACL and Achilles back to back.
Yeah, somebody like him back in the 80s, he would have
done. Your career's over with.
You're done.
You tear an ACL in the 90s or in the 80s, your career's done. You're done. You're like Brandon Roy. How good was fucking Brandon Roy?
Dude, that dude was really good, man.
Brandon Roy was going to be a fucking monster. But that dude, unfortunately, had knee problems.
What did he have? He had congenital, like knee arthritis. So I don't know.
I think he tore an ACL once, and then it was all kind of like downhill from there. Everything else was just like little ticky tack.
But his shit was like genetic. He was his knees were like disintegrating or something.
Yeah. He had like old man knees.
Yeah.
When he was still young.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he had bad knees. But he was another one. He was like
cold though.
You know, he was like Damian Lillard, but
he
like
was
better.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I think he was more of a Damon had a better 3 to me.
That's close for me.
Brandon,
they're pretty close.
Brandon had that smooth. He can get you a bucket.
Yeah,
he's gonna body you because his size. He was like 6'5".
Yeah, he was a little bigger.
Yeah, so I like the way his clutchness was something that I liked.
I would say he's like a Gilbert Arenas, but Gilbert Arenas kind of had those stretch. I mean, Gilbert Arenas had a stretch where he was really fucking good. But he was another one where he had a little bit of body. You know, he had a little bit of body, so he can bump people and kind of get a shot off.
Gilbert Arenas without the gun.
Yeah, without the gun.
Yeah, Gilbert was good too.
But then he kind of fell off the map.
Agent Zero.
Yeah, he fell off the fucking map. Yeah.
Ego and shit, man. I mean, a lot of these players, you know, that's that thing where talent can take you so far, but you got to keep working hard in your ego and shit.
Right.
A lot of these players that we're talking about, other than like Brandon Roy, who suffered from injuries, a lot of these players, man, if they just would have a focus of, I want to win, greatness, and all that other stuff, because money is no problem no more. This is what you've been doing since you were a shorty. So maximize the success of it, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people just, at some point, from what I'm seeing, they lose focus of that. And then the ego starts taking over for other reasons, rather than playing for your team and all that good stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So those players, Agent Zero and even Westbrook, for example. Westbrook, to me, should do the same thing. Hey, I'm a part of this team. I don't need to be trying to run down full speed.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just slow down a little bit. I think he would benefit more or less from just slowing down and be more of a distributor. Just really pass the ball around and move, because you have other players that can score. Especially when Melo gets on the court. When Melo gets on the court, he's going to hit some shots.
He's a scorer. Yeah, he's a scorer. He's a
gonna
pure
hit some
scorer.
shots. And then you have Malik Monk, who can shoot. He can shoot.
Yes, he can.
You have what? THT, he's inconsistent
Sure.
sometimes. He's okay.
Sure. You gotta get him the ball.
You got to give him the ball. You know. So as Westbrook, I feel like he should just slow down, man.
Like I've never seen.
That's not gonna happen,
dude. I've never seen people lay off a professional basketball player. Like when they're coming back on defense and Westbrook is coming down, like literally they back up into the paint to try to force him to shoot the ball.
Yeah,
he's a professional basketball player. Like you should be able to shoot the ball. Like I think mentally something's wrong with him right now. Like he just can't really get into the game. Like I don't know, not mental like he's crazy. More like, you know, you go into these slumps, but like you can't get out of this fucking slump. Like in baseball, it would be like a hitting slump. Yeah, you can't hit the ball right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he just can't score.
It's a lot of mental for him because he know a lot of people talking about him. I believe.
I think it's because there's a standard set for him, and he has to hold his end of the bargain. Mm-hmm. You're playing for the Lakers. LeBron picked you over a lot of other people, so you need to hold your fucking end of the fucking stick.
And if you look at what the shots that Westbrook takes, he takes a good amount of mid-range shots. So, like you say, as a professional player, you should be able to hit them shots.
Yes, especially when they're leaving you open.
And you can tell when you watch Westbrook play, he deliberately is trying to take those mid-range shots. But you just not hitting them. You know, those are some pretty decent shots that I see you take, but he just off, man.
It's almost like me with LeBron. Like LeBron, okay, you're a professional basketball player. You wake up in the morning. I'm assuming this is what a day-to-day thing is for him, right? On a no-game day. You wake up, you go to the gym, you practice for a couple hours, you go to lunch, you come back, you practice again, you go home, get ready for a game. So you're practicing a lot, right? How do you miss free throws? You're not Shaq. Like I give Shaq, the benefit of the doubt because he shoots horribly.
Like
right?
He's shooting a grapefruit.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to actually, he doesn't have form or anything. LeBron is considered to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Yet you miss free throws. I'm like, dude, Jonathan here across the table from me, he can shoot the basketball pretty well. Can't do much of anything else, but he can shoot the fucking basketball. Now you give Jonathan as much practice as LeBron gets, dude, this man would have at least an 85% free throw percentage. You give me as much practice as they get. I'll get you free throws. You know what I'm saying? But LeBron misses free throws? This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how good are you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know everybody misses free throws. Steph Curry misses free throws, but Steph Curry's percentage is in the 90s.
That's the thing. Your percentage for what you're saying, you're one of the greatest. Your percentage should be no less than 80%.
Agreed.
Easy.
Even Mike missed a lot of free throws, but like,
shit, Mike was like 80s.
Yeah, he was still in the 80s. So he was still up there. Yeah. Like, I mean, let's be realistic. Yeah. If you're a scorer, and the funny thing is he can make a 3-pointer, right? He can make a contested 3-pointer, but you can't make a free throw with no one defending you. You can't tell me there's always pressure in a basketball game. In a professional basketball game, there's always pressure.
There's extra pressure
when you're by yourself. But
you should. Don't tell me he should. They're uncontested, and it gets to your head.
Pressure doesn't count because he does this for a living. You can't. It's not okay. It's one thing if he was brand new to it.
Yeah.
Like when I auditioned for my first time, nervous as fuck. I've already gone through like 200 auditions. I shouldn't be that nervous anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be nervous, but it shouldn't overwhelm you.
Nervous in the excitement.
Because excitement and nervousness are two different things.
Right. I agree, man. I mean, you 18 years in the league.
Oh, LeBron?
Yeah.
LeBron's almost is he 18?
He's 18 years.
18?
Yeah. You know, for a lot of players too, man, period. You know?
I mean, Kobe missed a lot of big time free throws too, but his percentage was still in the 80s.
Yeah. So I've always wondered that shit too, man. How do you call yourself a professional and you miss relatively easy shots? It's just a matter of focus, I believe. And you said it don't count because you're a professional player. The pressure, it don't count because you're professional. Like if this was your first time, you could see someone getting rattled.
You're nervous or rattled. Right. Yes, it makes sense. Yeah. Like the thunder sticks might bug you if it's your first time out. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
But like if you see the thunder sticks every fucking day, I mean, come on, like really that's what bothers you?
Yeah.
You put me in front of 30,000 people once, yeah, I'm nervous. You put me in front of 30,000 people a couple hundred times, that shouldn't bug you anymore. It shouldn't. But nonetheless, enough about basketball.
Yeah.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes here. So you're a director, correct?
Yes, sir.
Writer as well?
Yes, sir.
Let's start with directing because that's something you directed me as well in a small scene I did for you. What made you want to do that? Where'd you get started?
So back in '98, I was making music, and
oh geez, I was in 8th grade.
Damn, don't telling my age like I'm
sorry.
But yeah, back in '98, I was making music and decided to started investing in equipment because I saw Master P back in like '97.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Master P was real. He was hot, and I seen this dude on videos that Heaven for a Gangster. And he was just on there, and this dude, I'm just looking like, who the hell is this dude, right? So I was in tune with him, and then I started to follow what he was doing. He was dropping albums every month, and he dropped a movie. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be like that dude. And I'm like mid-20s, early 20s. So fast forward a little bit, I bought some equipment based off Master P, like, man, own your own shit. Yeah, that's the best way to go. So I'm like, bet. So I bought a 4-track Tascam 414 Mark II.
I got one of those. Those are cool.
With the tape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are cool, man. Those are fucking cool.
Shoot. So I got one of those, and then I got a Casio keyboard and a drum machine, DR660 drum machine. So I had a little studio. You know, had a Shure 58A mic, which I still got today. So that was my baby. It's like 23 years old.
That's quality. That's quality equipment right there. That's what that is.
Yes, that motherfucker still work like his brand. Like I just bought it. But fast forward, man, I started getting that equipment and started making music, and people started to like what I was doing. And so I actually technically moved into a studio. I partnered up with this guy who already had a studio in the town in 2005. And when I got into the studio, stuff started opening it up for me. Started working with different people, engineering their sessions, making music for them, all of that. And then this guy next door to the studio named Jerry Brown, who's a union worker, He was a union worker. He still is. But in 06, he, came over one time, like, hey, what's going on, man? I see y'all just moved over in here, and stuff like that. So he was like, man, you got a studio, dude. Man, you might want to try your hand at making some movies. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, shit, you sound like you know what you're doing, So what happened is in 06, still at the studio, and Jerry's staying next door. It's the summertime. Jerry said, hey, man, all you need is a camera. Your camera just need to have an input for the mic. We can start doing something. It was that simple. So I came up with a concept called The Beat. It was a short film, The Beat. It was about a young man, a young music producer who lost some music, and it got found for people. Another group found the music and got success off of it. The short film, so 28 minutes and stuff. So once I did that one and pushed play after the post-production was finished, I just fell in love with it. That was in 06. And, it was just something that, as a creator, when you're doing something and you find another way to be creative, that shit fell right in my lap. And it just so happens that I was already doing music, which I didn't understand at the time. But then Jerry was like, man, now that you got your foot in this, you better put your music in there. You better do some sound design. I was learning about all this stuff, the editing. I didn't know too much about no editing, none of that stuff. It was just music. So it was 06, really 2006 is when I really got my first taste. I bust my cherry, so to speak, messing around with movies, and I still do it now.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's a. Here's the funny part. So like we're on the older side, if we want to call it, right? We're not strapping young men anymore. We're tough older guys now. Imagine, because you were talking about tape decks and all this stuff, all this retro gear that these kids don't know about. Imagine how much you would have known or learned if you had YouTube back then.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be unstoppable. Let me tell you, because I learned shit quick. When I was a kid, I was pretty tech savvy as a kid. Mm-hmm. Give me YouTube when I was 12. What? Man, I would have. The world would have been
at the wrong time.
I really was. Mm-hmm. Dude, because there's so much more information. Because back then you had to figure shit out, or you had to like run into somebody who knew what they were doing,
trial and error,
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, how many times you stick the screwdriver in the wrong socket? You know what I mean? I've done that a bunch of times. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? I went garbage picking for speakers and audio equipment and all this bullshit to put it all together to make it all work in my room and all that. I did all that shit. And I didn't know anything about it. I just, let's figure this out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's a lost art right now.
Yeah, and
dumpster diving?
Yes, dumpster diving is definitely a fucking lost art. Find some good shit. You go to the right neighborhood, bro. Let me tell you.
You're stupid.
You go to the right neighborhood, boy. You find some good stuff. But I think it's a lost art right now. And I noticed it a lot. Me and John, we watch a lot of, or more me than I show him. I watch a lot of independent stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I start to notice trends in stuff with people's work. And I know we're all beginners and we all, we learn as we go. Mm. But I've learned and I've noticed that people don't take the time to actually like learn how to do something before they jump in head first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a firm believer. You may disagree, and that's okay. I'm a firm believer. Like, I'm not gonna jump in with a red camera if I don't even know how to use a Canon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the type of dude that like I like to start from the ground and work my way up. I feel like you build a better understanding of how to use something. You know what I'm saying? Like, before we used all this equipment that you see here, we started off with a simple laptop, USB mics, and we started there. Mm-hmm. Then we went to one camera, and then we figured out how to do that one, and we figured out the software. Then we went to 2 cameras, 3 cameras, and then eventually you end up with what we got, which to me is pretty decent. There's always room to improve, but that's neither here nor there. I feel like people don't do that. Don't go through the process. What do you think?
Well, that's because, and I agree, simply because of the times. You know, you spoke about the tape, for example. Tascam 414 Mach 2, you had to put the tape in, record and play.
And play at the same time. They don't know about that shit.
They don't know nothing about that. So, but to get back what you're saying, the process, we we value the process a little bit more back then than we do today, because I feel like everything or most things are so accessible for us to get.
Yeah.
That we don't appreciate it because of how fast and how quick we can just access what we think in our mind. As soon as we think of something in our mind, we go straight to YouTube and it's there.
Right.
Back in the day, when you bought a piece of an equipment, you had to open the manual and read that motherfucker and get frustrated.
Shit don't even come with manuals anymore.
No.
Don't even come with manuals. Don't even
manuals anymore. It's
you had to go
ridiculous.
online.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Your QR code. And beep.
Yeah, I mean, and people don't even get through that process of reading it.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, you just go on a video and look up how somebody else used it, which is fine. I get it, and that's an awesome fucking tool, right? Like, I wish I had that, but I think there's a concept of jumping in too quickly, in my opinion, because if your product suffers from, to me, what is a lack of knowledge, right, of how to do something. To me, all that shows is that you literally saw a big camera and you're like, oh shit, I gotta use this. Relax.
Right.
Like, that's always gonna be there. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be there. But get to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Learn about shutter speeds, about all this. Learn about everything.
The nuances.
Use the small camera to get your feet wet, and then you move up gradually. Because if you jump, you're wasting a tool because you don't know how to use it.
And how old are you?
I'm 35.
38.
Okay, so we're kind of like, I'm 48. So when you talk about what you just said, that the times mimic, the times are a factor in the process of people and how they grasp or learn things. The times are the accessibility to stuff. Like I was mentioning, when you got a piece of equipment back in the day, you had a whole manual. You had to read that. We were just talking about reading. Mm-hmm. You had to read and understand that mug and then try to figure it out. As today, you gotta do that shit. You just go on YouTube and then be like, So you miss out the functionalities.
Right.
You understand? You miss out on some of the qualities that works with the imagination. When you just, okay, I can get it right here.
And isn't that the fun of it? Is figuring it out?
Figuring it out.
To me, that's the fun.
Shit, not at first.
Yeah. Oh, fuck no, it's not fun. But then when you what?
Dude, but that's the fun. I don't know. Maybe I've always considered myself one of the last of a dying breed, right? Because again, I'm kind of in that weird area where, like, I feel like I know enough of the older time, and I know enough of the modern time. Because again, like you said, you're 48. So obviously a different life was completely different when it comes to technology at that time, right? And then I came in the middle there. So I have a good amount of my life where I had corded telephones, and then now to having what we have. So I'm like the last one of that in between. Like, I'm the last person who's going to know what a VCR is, what an 8-track player is, what a record player is,
CD.
what a caller ID,
no 8-track.
CDs.
Your time.
I did have 8-track in my time.
Did
What are
you?
you talking about? My dad had one in his car. It's like he had Marino, bro, playing all the time. You know what I'm talking about. I'm one of those last ones that knows about, the time prior to what we have. Because if you ask anyone younger than me, you tell them, what's a CD? Well, those are those things that I think used to hold music, right? Yeah, they used to hold music. That was like the most modern advancement we had in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But again, it's just like, to me, I feel like we need to take a moment to kind of learn how to do it. Because again, that's the fun. Mm-hmm. Like, John, when we built this room, you know how much fun stress I had sitting in here.
More like it.
I would sit because he would be at work and I was on vacation when we started setting this up. I literally would sit. I had the table here. I sat here and I'm just looking at everything like, okay, how do I want to put padding here. How am I going to make this look like this? Like, that's fun. It's stressful, but it's fun stress.
And there's something to be said for experience. When you're doing stuff like that.
Agreed.
You're taking time to figure it out. You're eyeballing it and doing what you're doing. It's the experience, because once you go through it, then you'll be able to duplicate it or enhance it or show someone else that whole
I told
situation?
him to start like a consulting firm.
No, I'm not.
Why not?
I'm not
Why
I'm
not?
not that good. No. No, man. I lost my hair fucking dealing with my problems. You think I'm gonna? Well, I don't have no hair to lose. I'm just gonna lose my fucking mind.
You just give them the general idea of what to do, and then it's up to them.
No, man. I can't do that, bro. I can't do that.
And they pay you for it, man.
Nah.
They better have a disclaimer like a month.
Yeah.
The contract that they got to sign.
On the real.
No, man. I mean,
Disclaimer: I really have no idea what I'm talking about.
You're paying for your own risk at your own risk. No, man. It's interesting. Again, I'm not gonna say that every fucking film I've seen is god awful, because it's not. I mean, I understand that we're all kind of beginners at this, and these. I mean, obviously, if you've been in the game longer, obviously a different story. But for the most part, the people that I've seen are people that are starting out. Even myself, like I did one short film. I didn't think it was all that great. Some people tell me it was fine. I'm like, okay, cool. This was my first one. I wanted to make sure I had my bases down. I covered my audio. I covered this stuff that I learned from it, because I did it all kind of by myself in the sense of the technical part of it. And I want to shoot another one. And guess what? It's going to be better, because I'm going to take what I learned, my mistakes that I made, and now I improve. John, why are you laughing and smiling over there, buddy? I'm not going to invite you, because you're going to fucking start laughing like a dumbass in the background.
I'm just saying, you wish you had YouTube when you were younger. I wish I had Tinder when I was younger.
Oh God, come on, man. Jeez, you always gotta bring one of those in.
I'm just saying.
Always gotta throw one of those.
Well, what's the most enjoyable part for you when making movies?
Making a movie. What's the most enjoyable part? My body wants to say when it's over. Right, because I feel like I don't know about you. I mean, everybody's different, right? And this is when my friends tell me, like, you gotta slow down, bro, because you get invested in shit and you don't stop. Like one of my best friends, like, she says I'm like Tony Stark. Like, I cannot stop what I'm fucking doing. Once my mind is on something, probably John,
he's like the
finish.
Oh, and not even finish. Like I'm the type, like somebody will tell me, oh, your studio's fine. You're great. Just leave it like that. No, I can always do better.
He's like the Russell Westbrook of filming. He's all over the place, out of control.
Yeah, but I make buckets.
I'm about to say, you ain't throwing up bricks.
I ain't throwing up bricks.
Turnovers and all that.
That's my biggest thing is I'm what do they call it? Hyper focused? Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Like I'm very whatever. But honestly, the best thing is when you get when someone you respect, you get a compliment from. That's a good feeling. Like right now, when people come here, a lot of people say, man, this looks really nice. Like, that's the ultimate, and
it does, bro.
Happy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we put time and effort into this, and honestly, I'm pretty proud of what we came up with. When people tell me, hey, it looks nice, awesome. That's the goal. Same thing with films. When people tell me, hey, it looks good, you did good, or whatever, cool. But I'm moving on, moving on up.
Yeah, I mean,
excuse me, for me, it's more like the best part, or the most gratifying part about making movies is when you have people with you that believe in the story and they're going to roll with you the whole way, and you get it in the can. Like, once you get it all in the can, that's the best feeling to me.
Right.
Because the commitment, the time, people that roll with you, everybody went through everything together. We got it in the can. Now, post, I'll holler at y'all after post. But we did it, y'all. So I started to appreciate the journey more than anything. People that come around, the talent, any of the pitfalls. For me, over the years, one of my biggest challenges, and this is funny, is just getting people to come to the set.
Oh my God.
Like when I casted you for that role, man, you were there like lickety split, bam, and I was just like, okay, cool, I like this. Then Caitlin shows up, bam, and I worked with Caitlin before, so I expected that from her. But when people just show up to the set, bro, just come to the set, and I understand that ultra micro low budget movies,
sure, understandable.
That right there, man, means so much, man. Just come to the set. We got the rest.
It's like one of those things. Okay, so like again, I'm gonna go through this pretty soon too, because one thing I'm gonna do different than I did last time was, now that I appreciate my friends that helped me with acting in my short film, but they're not actors, right? So I mean, I use them because obviously they wanted to help me, but at the same time, you know, I don't what's the way to say it that's not super offensive? I don't want to put that pressure on them because that's not what they do. You know, if they want to do it, they're more than welcome to come back. But there's a difference, you know, putting pressure on someone who's wants to be an actor to someone who just, I'm just gonna help you out, bro. Like, why are you telling me to memorize all this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Put it on a paper. Nobody's gonna see the paper.
Oh God, that's what we did. That's what we fucking did. That's what we fucking did with Rob.
No shit, you had somebody,
dude.
You had to hold some paper up.
No, well, we did it pretty slick too. So he was having an issue because he had a little bit of a couple lines, right? And he was having an issue memorizing it, right? So the whole scene is like in an office, right? Not an office, but at work, right? So I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm just going to put the paper on the screen, on the monitor of the computer, and just turn like if you're freaking typing something and just read it.
Right.
And the camera's not going to fucking see it. I mean, people are going to think you're doing something on the computer.
It looked good.
Yeah.
I mean.
And then I covered it up even more because then what I did was I ended up flipping the camera looking at me. So I'm giving him the reaction. You know what I'm saying? So it worked. I mean,
yeah.
But again, it's something different. Now, the interesting part is like, if you're an actor or want to be an actor, show up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Show up. But then again, this is why I want to use actors and people that want to be in this business, because again, like Jonathan would help me, right? He's not into acting. This is not what he does. He helps me out because he's my friend, but I don't expect him to fucking set aside his schedule for it because that's not what he's into. Like if you call me, like you said, I showed up on time because I want to be an actor. So this is what I want to do. So I'm going to put everything aside to do this.
Yeah.
If he ever does it at a gym and he goes, be background, lift some weight, I'll do that.
Yeah. Shoot some jumpers.
Yeah. Nah, that's what he would fucking do.
So, I mean, it's like you said, when I've been fortunate enough to just stay committed and just stay with a brave heart, committing to filming. You know, there's sometimes you get lapses in filming the project because people canceling, and again, like you just stated, I would say half of the people I'm working with aren't really committed actors, but they want to. They have lives, and it's tough. It's tough when you're working with people who aren't quote unquote committed actors, but they're willing to work with you and they want to try.
Hey, people that got their own 9 to 5.
Yeah,
I think that's the hard part.
That's the hardest part, man.
And I think it's understandable, right? I mean, okay, so like if I'm gonna cast somebody, right? Obviously, I again, am I a fan of people, you know, casting and then telling me, "Oh, we're gonna shoot tomorrow"? What do you mean tomorrow? I'm 35 years old, bro. Like you gotta give me at least a day or two, you know, so I can kind of. You know, I work. I mean, he's like, what are you doing tomorrow in the morning? I work 9 to 5 every day. Like, you got to, like, I get it. And the commitment's there, but we also have to be scheduled. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's plan this out and then I can commit to it. But, like, I can't commit when you're calling me at 9 at night and telling me, hey, we're going to record tomorrow. That's hard.
Who's doing that?
I've had people do that to me before.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, man, this last movie, What Mama Says, which Miguel did an awesome job. The role you played, we've already edited. It's called What Mama Says. We're going to release it on May 1st.
Right on.
It's a story of an irresponsible young man nearing his 30s who finally gets his first apartment. It's a comedy. And man, I swear to you, I wrote the script in this was all in pandemic 2020. As soon as it shut down, man, I started writing. And I had the concept nailed, and I wrote that shit in probably about a month and a half, 2 months. I was done with it. And my goal was to write it and shoot it the same year. I had never done that before. Man, I was so close, man. And everything started to, one of my friends passed away. That was in the movie. And then the cancellations started coming. And I'm like, come on, man, come on. And to this day, like I say, I have like one scene left, like literally one scene left.
Should have gave me a bigger role. I would have been there I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
Man, I mean,
should have gave John a role. He would have been there too.
So, but this moving forward, 2022, I'm looking to do some casting, official casting. Have more of a budget, which always helps when you have some budget, and do some official casting. That's something that I've never really sat down and done. Just some casting.
We'll have people audition, the whole 9 yards.
The whole thing. Most of the people I've worked with are some either singers, drama, some theater, stuff like that. Poets, people that can memorize things.
Right.
But I'm gonna do a different thing this time with cast. I had a couple of movies coming up that I'm writing up right now. So, but filmmaking is fun, man. I love it. I really do. Especially when you got people to work with that are fun and committed. We get the shit done, man. It's cool when you get it done.
Yeah, and again, but it's awesome when you find people that are into the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, John's my best friend, but I get it. He's not into this shit. But like when you find someone, bro, that's like super into like, let's say something like podcasting or whatever, like they're into it. So like, man, let's talk about this. How can we do this? How can we do that? Let's make this work. Blah, 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 blah. Like that's awesome to find. You know what I'm saying? And it's rare because again, it's finding people that are committed and really want to do this. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. You know?
So what do you got? You got anything coming up other than your short? Auditions and shit.
Well, I just switched agents recently, so that's kind of my transition period right now. Again, okay. I did Chicago PD, which sucks because you can't fucking be on.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw you.
You can't be on any of the fucking TV shows for 2 years, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I ain't know that, cuz.
But unfortunately, you know, what is what it is. You know, Power's still running around, so we'll see what comes up. The interesting thing is I'm starting to see a lot of the people that have been on the podcast that get the roles that I auditioned for. Which is an interesting feeling, right? And then, but this is the crazy part. Again, this is when we're talking about how I don't enjoy fucking movies anymore. What's interesting is like I watched the scene and I'm like, okay, now I know why I didn't get it because he looks a lot better than like you know how it's a visual. Like you can't take rejection personally, right? I know you would, John. Somebody tells you no once, I quit. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm over. Like in this business, we're gonna get a lot more no's than we are yeses when you're an actor. That's the nature of the beast, right? Yeah. If you're so lucky and the sun shines on you one day and you happen to book a role, you probably deserved it because how many people auditioned for that one role? Yeah, and only one person can get that role. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're gonna get a lot of no's. It's interesting to see when other people do it, and I like watching it purposely because I like to see, okay, what did they do? Why did they pick them? Not so much because obviously the look has to do with it. Because I think like Enrique just got one that I auditioned for, and I just saw it. He posted his performance, and I'm like, damn, he really looked. He looked the part. He looked the fucking part. And then when I think, would I look like that? No, I wouldn't look like that.
You know, Chicago, the area, you know, our film community here, we do run into a lot of people because of it's big, but it's small too. The community is small. You run into a lot of the same people. I'm
starting to notice that,
and it's exciting to see them elevate and have success. Because a lot of them, I've seen a lot of them from when they really were first starting, and like they're on TV now.
That's awesome.
So that's like really cool. Like, man, yeah, I remember working with that person or crossing paths with that person. Now look at them. Chicago got it going on though. Chicago's talent is fire.
Isn't that the greatest? Like I think that's an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Like I just saw this week that just passed in Chicago PD, Wendy that was a guest here 2 weeks ago. She was on that episode, and another girl that I'm friends with, her name's Gloria. She was also on that episode, and I'm like, that's fucking cool to see. Like, man, like a
lot of people that have been here.
I've been on different shows. Emma's been on a couple shows, and she's on a play right now. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And these are people like Emma I took classes with. So like me and Emma, you know, I just talked to her for a little while today, and like to see her, you know, go through the same things I went through. Like, you know, we went through the same classes and blah blah blah. And you know, I saw her when she was, you know, struggling in class or whatever, and to see her on the screen, I'm like, that's fucking cool.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
That's fucking cool.
So let me ask y'all, right? Hollywood for a long time has been remaking shit, and it seemed like they're just running dry.
God awful.
Like,
it's horrible.
Really. Do you all think? What do you think? In about 5 years, what do you think Hollywood? What do you think the state of Hollywood would be in about 5 years?
I mean, I think Hollywood's not going to go anywhere because Hollywood is a big.
It's always going to be the Mecca.
It's too big of a machine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like one of those. Like that's where the production of movies has always come from for the most part, and I think it's been through the test of time
because they got the money, pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but even in like let's say in the older days, black and whites, whatever, it has survived times like this. Because right now it's kind of weird because like they don't generate the same amount of money as they did once before. Right, Hollywood's kind of taking a hit right now because theaters are closed, blah blah blah. People don't want to go, blah blah blah. Plus they're coming out with garbage for the most part too. I don't think Hollywood's going to go anywhere. I think it's always going to be like you said, like the Mecca.
Not only do they have the budget, they have every pretty girl's dream and every handsome guy's dream is to move to LA and become an actor. So they got the talent.
Yeah, I think that shit getting stale though. You know,
I agree.
I think it's getting stale because even with them having as much money as they've had and control and power, the shift in independent production financing has greatly increased.
Sure.
Atlanta's a great example of it. And we have our scene here in Chicago. I just feel like when it comes to that big engine, like they're searching, and then with the streaming, the Peacocks and the Disneys and Paramounts and stuff like that, they're really searching, man. They're like, the one trump card that they have is superhero shit.
Sure.
For kids.
Sure.
Aladdin shit. I mean, that's going to last. That's okay. But I feel like in about 5 years, man, Hollywood, there's going to be more interest in independent streaming sites for content than a lot of these mainstream Paramount. I feel like it's going to they're going to take a huge hit.
I'll challenge, and I'll tell you why I'll challenge. There's another person I know of that kind of stands by this concept, and I'm not saying it won't happen because obviously things change, right? I think the interesting is like kind of how he said. So when, like for me, for example, I'm an actor, right? I went from background to doing student films to doing independent films. What's the goal? Right, for the average actor, like he said, like the goal is to move to LA and work in Hollywood. That's the goal, right? Now, how fast will that change? Because even for directors, I mean, maybe not yourself, but like most directors, whatever, cinematographers, audio people, like if you're into movies, the goal to me, in most part, would be to go to Hollywood. Because that's where we think of most movies. And I think until that idea changes, which I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, it might. But I think there's always going to be, what do I call it? Like, I don't want to say a bar, but like there's a difference, right? Because I've gotten into debates over independence and Hollywood. Like there's a difference.
You said Atlanta. Are we like considering like big production companies like something like Tyler Perry's?
Well, let me tell you.
Is that like considered independent, or is that
well, the studio doesn't matter. It's what productions actually go there. So like he probably can't produce indie films there if they have the money to afford to go there. You know, and you can film anything there as long as you have money. You can go to CineSpace and film anything,
right? Or is that like legit? Like,
but for the most part, a lot of the bigger names that go to his studio are Hollywood productions for the most part. Now, can you rent something out and use it? Of course you can. The same thing with CineSpace. CineSpace was used for The Dark Knight, but it also does indie films. I know a lady that actually owns a room who rents a room there at CineSpace to do her stuff. So like, I mean, you can rent it.
Say to sleep in there.
No, I mean for the price that it probably costs, I might as well. You know what I'm saying? I live in this bitch.
There.
But you get what I'm saying. I mean, my thing with indie films is I feel like indies are great for what they are, but I've always looked at them like there's two different sections and they're separate. Okay, so I always look at indies on its own. I don't like to compare the two. because I don't think it's a fair comparison either way. You know what I'm saying? Because you it's hard to compare, let's say, the average indie film that has a budget of $50,000 to the average Hollywood film that has over $1 million. That's not even fair, because it's not it's not going to be fair. You know what I'm saying? Even if the content might be greater, it's not fair, because you're not going to have the marketing. You're not going to see it everywhere. Blah 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 blah.
That's the part.
You know what I'm saying?
The marketing that probably hurts indie films probably more than anything, because half the budget is marketing when you talk about big films and just films in general. But spinning off of what you spoke of when you're talking about most actors and most cinematographers, their goal is to go to LA and stuff like that. I believe a good percentage of them have that goal. I think a lot of them to see LA and stuff like that is overly saturated and competitive. So then they move into other areas like Atlanta, maybe try out New York, stuff like that. Because of how much accessibility things are today. I mean, if you want to try LA, then there's the nuances of the price to live there.
No, of course.
It's all
ridiculous.
that stuff.
That's insane.
So I think to some degree, that whole legacy of move to LA and, you probably can make it if you stick it out. I mean, I think it still exists. But as the times have changed, I think the mind has changed too, for both the actor, crew member, who for most intents and purposes just want to get gigs.
Correct. And here's I'll give you another example that I use a lot when I talk about this. It's almost like the NBA and the G League. Okay. And I'm not saying, I'm just using it as an example. So in the G League, you get paid to play basketball. But the goal of any G League player, if you ask them, is to play in the NBA. So to me, Indies would be a G League, and then you have the NBA, which has all the money, is Hollywood. So you can't be an actor and just say, I want to work in Hollywood, because that's not logical, especially when you're starting out. Because even if you land one gig, that doesn't guarantee you're going to land 30 of them, or enough to support yourself for the rest of your life, right? So you have to look for something else. So what's the next thing? The next thing is like, okay, I got to take an indie film. I got to take this. I got to take that. But the ultimate goal is still going to be, I want to land that Captain America role or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with basketball
you ain't
players.
Getting that role.
No, I'm not getting that role. Obviously not. Didn't he have a Puerto Rican flag at the one point? And whatever. That's kind of my point. Like, even with basketball, like any G League player, if he tells you, oh, I'm happy playing in the G League, then he's really didn't take that shit seriously. Because if you're in the G League, your goal is to be in the NBA. Now, I think it can change. I think it can change, because there is competitiveness in the G League. Nobody watches it as much because it's not marketed as much, right? Which is the problem with indie film. You don't get as much marketing. And it could be you got really good players that make the G League, but it's not the NBA. They're two different things. And I think, to me, it just the concept of this needs to overthrow this or that, whatever, to me is kind of weird, because if indie film took over Hollywood, then indie film would just turn into Hollywood. It eventually would turn into the same problem.
I see what you're saying.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because if the money's not going to the films in Hollywood, at some point they're going to go to the films in indie films, and then they're going to be the ones that then the next generation is going to say, well, we need to knock down indie films or whatever. It's always going to be this problem.
This perpetual.
It's like a circle. You know what I'm saying? If you don't give the money to Hollywood, you give it to them, then they're going to be the stuck up or what's the word for your kid, like the favored kid or whatever, the kid the privileged kid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's a good analogy, how you put that, G League and pro. I'm more like G League, goddammit.
He's been working on that one for a while.
He be fucking with you, Joe.
That's literally
that's a
why
good
I'm
concept,
here.
though,
that's
man.
the only reason I'm here.
That's a good way to look at it.
No, a lot of people, because I've made my comments on indie films, and I stand by my comments. I'm not bashing indie film. Indie film serves its purpose and what it's for, and that's great. And if you come out with a fucking movie like what was it? Blair Witch is an indie film, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sells a couple billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Girl fight. Something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let's I think as a society, we're always comparing to something. Let's stop comparing and let's just do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to make indie films, make indie films, but let's stop comparing it so much to what Hollywood does or whatever. Just focus on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we keep comparing and we need to take over here, because I literally know, so we'll talk about it after. I don't like mentioning this person, but like he's literally like burn Hollywood down.
I already know what you're talking about.
Like, bro, I mean, and you can be, if you're a fan of him, cool.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. We're talking about. Okay, like he's literally like burn fucking Hollywood down. I'm like, bro, do you realize that you probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Hollywood? Because even your drive of saying that is because Hollywood exists.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be who you are if Hollywood didn't exist. But like, let's bring it back a notch. Let's relax for a second. Indie film is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great outlet for you to
Just
be
really
creative and all this and whatever.
Get your feet wet.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. As an actor, we use it to like you said, get our feet wet, to get get some exposure, get some
Even
real.
more than that, yeah.
It's
Make a living off indie films.
Of course you can. Of course you can. But again, my issue has always been like, why the comparison? Let's leave those two things alone and let's focus on what we're doing.
I think what the comparison is seeing how what mainstream or major film productions is like a secret society almost. A lot of us actors, directors, writers try to break that secret society. So it's like, it's almost like we were trying to figure out what is it that's holding us from breaking into this? Why is it such red tape? You know, why is it this? Why is it that? So it's almost like a radical situation or rebellious, like, you know what? I'm talented. And a lot of people are talented and should be, or I wouldn't say should be, because, you know, no one is, what's the word I'm looking for?
No one's like guaranteed a spot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's
you're
no
not
guaranteed anything. Right.
You're not gifted a spot.
You have to work
earn
for
a spot.
Right. So you may be talented. And a lot of people see that as an issue. I'm talented. Why is it taking me so long to get into this society? And I believe that's why a lot of indie people or people that make a lot of films without a lot of red tape, they have that type of feeling. Like, I have this, but why is it taking so long? Or what's stopping me from being accepted into this society? And I feel like that's why you have this, well, we're just going to do this indie until we, you know, if we make a lot of money this way, fine. We're just going to keep going because this society seems like it's forever to get in. And then it looks like certain types of people can make it in that society.
Sure.
So
yeah, you can say it. Feel free.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to say on this, buddy.
So, I mean, you know, it's just one of those things. For me personally, I just want to make shit. I have ideas. I want to write that shit down. I want to make the shit. Obviously, I want people to watch it. That's where our indie films marketing is word of mouth a lot of times.
Absolutely.
That's like and it's almost like the best shit. Word of mouth is like still one of the best ways. I'm going to always encourage people, stay trying to do your independent films the best you can with that goal of Hollywood, but don't let that be something that tires you out and you're 10 years and you still haven't reached that goal.
Absolutely.
Just keep yourself doing what you love.
I wonder if and this is a saying from a movie, which I don't think you should take it as a actual saying, but like, didn't like Alonzo say it in Training Day when he was telling to Hoyt, he was telling him like, you know, you make detective, you grow wise, and then you change it from the inside, right? And that makes sense. So if you don't agree with something, say Hollywood, how do you change it? You can't change it from the outside. Right, so when you get to that, now you have an opportunity to change it for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if people don't do that, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like you said, I mean, obviously there's. I was looking at funny thing. I sent you a picture of a post that somebody posted recently, and then I started looking into like Oscar winners, right? So when you look at a list of Oscar winners, especially in the women, this one's interesting. So in the women, the only African American Oscar winner is Halle Berry, Best Actress. Halle Berry's the only one in like, I don't know, like 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's about 50.
That's crazy.
250
That's crazy thing, because like to me, like again, Viola Davis is one supporting. She's never really been a main in a lot of films.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, for the men, it's a little bit different. But to me, it's just like, man, there's so much. Like, why do we create controversy when we don't need it? When we can just make art, you know, and then when we get to certain places, we can change it.
Egos, man.
That
Egos are just like really bad, you know, when it comes to art. And I'm glad you brought that up. When it comes to this art, there should never be any egos, because this is a collective art. We're talking about movies.
Yeah,
it's a collective situation. And when you insert any type of ego within that process, it fucks shit up. One thing I feel like a lot of filmmakers should always take with them is you're a creator and you're still a student. You're a creator and you're still a student. And what you're doing, like when you put out that art, it affects people. That's why that music is there. That's why that lighting is there. You're telling a story, you're connecting. Focus on the connection that you're creating rather than trying to focus on a superficial aspect like, I got the hottest shit. I got the woo. Well, that's subjective because the consumer is going to tell you if it's hot.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So when you're a filmmaker, writer, producer, the confidence for sure going to be inside because that's what you love and you chose to put it out there in the world. So for sure the confidence, but stay focused on that creative process.
I'm always a believer. Like I agree with what you said. Like you could be a teacher, but always be a student. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing or whatever it is, there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you. And why not learn?
Keep on.
Yeah, like let's bring John into this conversation. John, there's always someone who's going to bench more than you.
I don't believe that at all. It's not true.
What you bench, John?
Too much.
No, not that much, man.
But you stopped kind of trying to. He stopped trying to max out.
I'm looking at all the little popping and shit.
In my heyday, it was like 405, but not no more.
Like it was almost gross to watch him bench and stuff like that.
Really?
Like, dude, like hey, we're thinner guys, and we get to what 145 or 225 or whatever. We're like, oh yeah, we're kind of strong, and then these motherfuckers come in and they're benching and the bar is looking like it's gonna snap in half, kind of shit. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker, I don't want to stand next to him. I'm gonna go play basketball.
Throwing up 315 like it's nothing.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, like I said, I'm older. I got shoulder pains, but
don't be what's the word? Don't be
too modest.
Yeah, don't be modest.
But at least you keep in shape, though.
I was repping 315.
He was.
I think the most was like 12, 13.
He's a really he's one of those. I've always looked at John like, obviously he's a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, but he's like
who was it? He was an 80s kid, right? Did you watch Arnold?
Oh fuck yeah,
of course. Van Damme,
Predator.
Stallone.
Hold on, wait. You see, you're framing that question wrong, John.
What?
Yes, we watched Arnold. But you claim
he watched him in his heyday.
Hold on, wait. He claims that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the greatest actor to ever.
I don't.
See, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I say he has, in order to get where he got, he had to have a lot of drive, and he made it.
Sure,
that's what I say.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
I mean, English is his second language. The odds of him becoming a movie star were slim to none.
Okay, I don't think anyone argues that. My argument with you has always been, is he a good actor? That's my argument.
He has a lot of movies. So
that don't mean. Well, look at Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he's another one. I mean, do I really think? I don't think he's a great actor.
He's not the greatest actor. I mean, he's
funny.
It's cool.
He's funny. But I mean, the fact that you claim that Arnold's not good or Arnold is good, and then try to poke fun at like Gary Oldman or something. You're out of your fucking mind.
I just appreciate his grind to get there. That's honestly what
and I get it. I get that, and I can give him that. I'll give him that, but I will not ever in my life ever say that he's a good actor. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, he's a actor. He's not a great actor.
I think that was a product.
I am trying it. What do you mean?
No. Try it his way. Move to a different country with a different language, and then fucking try to become an actor.
Okay, fine. And let me have a body like him, because that helped him out a lot.
Yep, exactly. That helped him market.
Yeah, I'm really close. Yeah, I'm super close.
That helped him though, right?
That helped him a lot.
Yeah.
Again, I use The Rock as a perfect example. Is The Rock a great actor? No, I don't think he's a great actor.
Awful.
I think he's all right. I think he's good, but he's Arnold 2.0. That's what he is. The only difference between Arnold and The Rock is that Arnold is he's not understandable, and The Rock is understandable fully.
Hey, you know,
I mean, I like The Rock. I'm a Rock fan. Don't get me wrong.
Hey,
Trust me.
You know, and it's two things, right? With these two guys, Arnold for sure. He was a bodybuilder. Everybody knew who Arnold was in the world, right? So think about what we're just talking about with Hollywood, with marketing. They took someone that was already highly marketable, dropped him into a situation, and he's not the best actor, but they figured, hey, we can make some dollars.
Oh yeah, he already had a giant fan base.
Marketing already there.
That's the thing. And look at Arnold. Here's my question with Arnold and The Rock, for example, is would these guys be famous actors if they didn't look the way they did? So if Arnold was not a bodybuilder, if he just came over here as a skinny kid, would he be the actor that you know him to be?
Or if they didn't have the reputation.
Sure. Yeah, because his reputation came from bodybuilding.
From bodybuilding,
so
right.
let's take the bodybuilding out of the equation. Right. Would he be the actor or the celebrity that we know of today if he was a regular guy? Probably not.
The reputation.
Would The Rock be where he is today if he wasn't a WWF superstar?
The Rock would be nobody.
As charismatic as they are, and I will always say Arnold is a very charismatic dude. The Rock is a very charismatic dude. But would they be as successful in Hollywood if they didn't have their prior jobs?
It would be harder for them.
Yeah.
I don't even think they make it.
You don't think they make it?
I don't even think they make it.
I think The Rock does.
I don't think he makes it because, again, I don't think he's an amazing actor. His acting ability would have to develop a lot.
He probably wouldn't be a superstar status guy.
But the one thing those two have is they grind.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. But we can't really use. Okay, can we use the grind? Sure, but I'm just looking at their talent as actors. Okay, Arnold's not the greatest actor per se, right? He's not a character actor. The Rock's not really a character actor. Like the issue I have with both of these guys is because in every movie, it's just them, just with different lines. Like I've never seen a movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is not Arnold Schwarzenegger, just saying different things. And the same thing with The Rock.
So it's kind of hard for you to differentiate them, like when they're so
they're not character actors. Let's put it like that. There's no differentiating. Yeah.
So if you could, so
it's all Terminator to me. It's all fucking Terminator to me. And The Rock is all every movie I see him, I feel like he's gonna bring out a microphone and start. If you smile.
So every time you see them, that's what you feel like.
So it's the Terminator and Jingle All the Way. It's the Terminator and Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah,
it's the Terminator.
Yeah, that's it. Like I swear he's gonna say "I'll be back" in every fucking movie he comes out in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who they are.
I know what you're talking.
It's not like if you grab Denzel Washington, right? Denzel Washington has different characters that he's played.
Oh, Will Smith.
Will Smith has different characters.
You seen King Richard? You seen King Richard? The one about Venus Williams, Serena Williams?
No, I have not seen that yet. Is it good?
It's pretty good.
I have not seen it yet. Yeah. That was when he's a little overweight, right? Will Smith's that was the way that he started that stupid show on YouTube or whatever.
He plays the father?
He plays the
father, yeah.
I think that was... Okay, yeah.
It didn't come out too long. It came out not too long ago.
Yeah, came out too. I saw it
but like again, and I'm not saying every actor has to be this way. Right, but I mean, those are the differentiating ones, right? So you talk about like someone like Al Pacino, or you talk about Denzel Washington, or for me Gary Oldman, or whatever. All these guys who literally are different people. Christian Bale, different person in every fucking role that he does. You know,
embodying the whole.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. I've never seen The Rock do that.
No.
I've never seen Arnold Schwarzenegger do that. I don't know. Maybe they can. I don't know.
Yeah.
But more power to them because they make money. That's cool with them. I mean, that's fine. They made a living literally doing that, which is great for them. But that's my only issue with Arnold, Sir Arnold Schwarzenegger over there.
Sir, yes.
So who's your who's like one of your top performer actors?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, easy.
Yeah.
You know who Gary Oldman is?
Yeah.
Okay, because he has this thing where like nobody knows who Gary Oldman
Because
is.
75% of the people that come here don't know who he is.
Gary Oldman's my like greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Just because he's so versatile, and and he's like Viola Davis. Like Viola Davis is a great actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome, but she's always in supporting roles. So like I feel like the attention is never really given to them 100%, but they steal every fucking scene.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman's that.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Oldman steals every fucking scene he's in, no matter who he's in the scene with.
What's the last movie?
He won an Oscar a couple years ago for Best Actor.
What movie?
Oh crap! I literally was looking at this when I was at work.
Who is this?
Gary Oldman. He won an Oscar for damn it, what's the movie called? I will continue the conversation. I will look this up.
I think with a lot of actors though, you know, when you're working with some really good performers, when they can embody the nuances of characters, the walks, the mannerisms, you know.
Oh, when they really
suck
get
it
into it, yeah.
Man, dude, here's something that's, if you guys want to check it out, it's on my website. My first feature, which was done in 2011, it's called Music's Son. It's a story of an ex-keyboard player who struggles with the passing of his wife. And music helps him
cope with it.
Yeah, cope with it. But it's like a really deep story. I played the main character. It's a 92-minute movie. And when I tell you, I really truly embodied this character, man. For 5 months, I grew out my beard. My hair, everything, straggly as hell, man. You know, I was smoking, drinking.
You were that character.
I was that character, dude. And
so that's interesting.
That's a whole different level.
Like
of
when
commitment.
somebody usually says embody a character, you think they're playing like a historical figure, and it's somebody who's actually real.
Yeah.
But you did this with like a fictional character.
It was my uncle.
That was a real person.
Oh, so he was a real person. There you go.
And then I, thought back to mannerisms and ways and languages, and when he was inebriated, how he would be and what he would say, how he would say it, how he would move, how he would, man, that's tough. It's tough because I had to, just going out in the public, people were like, man, what's wrong with you, Corn? What's wrong? Because I grew out everything, and I decided, hey man, I'm just getting ready for this part,
Yeah.
And for about 5, I grew out the beard and hair and everything for 5 months, and it took us, probably somewhere like 6-7 months to shoot it. Man, I was like really rough looking, man.
It's damn near a year.
Man,
it was a year.
Yeah.
And it was when I look back at the movie, if you guys get a chance, it's on my website. It's called Music's Son. Man, I look back at that. I was like, man, that's probably my most intense in terms of actually trying to be a character. I played a couple of things for other people, but this one I just felt like since I did that, I actually understand what an actor who actually jumps into that and commits to it.
It's like a Christian Bale kind of player.
Man,
Christian Bale's ridiculous.
And you remember 50 Cent did that shit too. When he lost all that weight for that one movie.
And then he gained it all back for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I know, right, dude?
Stop fat shaming.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I love working with actors that really get down and they can soak themselves into that, man. It actually helps the director. It helps the director. Yeah. I love when actors challenge you. They ask you, hey, but what if we do this? I saw the script and, based on what the character's doing, what you think about this? When actors do that means they care.
Yeah, they put time. They put time to actually think about it.
Exactly, and stuff. So,
by the way, Gary Oldman won an Oscar for The Darkest Hour in 2018.
Darkest Hour,
Best Actor.
Darkest Hour.
I never seen Arnold. I never seen Arnold.
I've never seen that movie.
I don't think I've seen it either, but it's probably great. You know what I'm gonna do? I was thinking about this at work. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to watch at least maybe once a weekend, watch a movie from the last like 20 Oscar winners for Best Actor, just to see. Obviously, it has to be a good movie, right? Because they won Best Actor, right?
Right.
Has to be a good movie,
right? What you gonna gain? What you want to gain out of that?
You know what? It's funny because like, okay, so I'm doing, since you talk about character work, the short that I'm doing, I'm playing a character that's kind of how I want to play him. Is a mixture of a lot of shit that I've seen, and it's crazy because obviously, like John said, it's a fictional character. It's not someone who's real, so like you can't really 100% copy what the real person did. Right? This is something I'm making up in my head. Okay. It's crazy how much I grab from like what I want to add to this character from different things I've seen. Right? Like there's parts I want to take from like Jared Leto's Joker, as weird as that may sound. Stuff from like him. Stuff from like. Great. He was not great in that particular role, but I liked his ideas were pretty cool. Another movie that Denzel was in with Jared Leto, and I forgot the other guy. It was a Netflix movie. It came out not too long ago. Jared Leto played a really cool character where he was like this kind of crazed, mentally kind of ill kind of person, super like quiet and like just move super slow and stuff like that. Like all that stuff is interesting to me to try to add to a character, you know, not so much copy, right? But again, like I'm pretty sure you've heard the concept. You steal, you steal from everybody. You just don't.
It's like
put out there who you stole it from.
It's almost like understanding why
they do something,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting.
You don't say steal. Say they inspired you.
Sure.
It's same as stealing, but
sure.
It sounds a little bit better.
Sounds better. Sure.
Right. Yeah. Way better.
I don't know. So I'm trying to piece this character together. Because I really want to, sink my teeth into it. You know.
What kind of nuances does the character have?
He's gonna be very into himself. Like it's one of those bad guys like that doesn't really talk much. He's just very, with his words, he's very careful with his words. He's very, very to the point, and that's it.
He's like an introvert almost.
Yeah, kind of one of those.
Methodical with his movements.
Yeah, like I'm
really
kind of
calculated type of person.
Yeah, I'm thinking like you almost like he's threatening, but like you would think he's a pushover kind of person. You know what I'm saying? But like he fuck you up. You know
like
what I'm saying?
Kind of unsure because he's quiet.
Yeah. Kind of something like that is kind of what I'm going for.
Better watch your ass.
You know what the crazy thing. Here's the biggest thing I think I want to do with this short. Honestly, it's like I don't want to put on so many hats this time. I put on a shit ton of hats last time, and it's stressful because I can't focus on my acting. You know what I'm saying? So like at this time, I need to get somebody who's gonna hold the microphone correctly and not laugh like Jonathan. But if you want to help, you can help. You could be security, laugh all you want outside.
I tend to get the giggles.
He does get the fucking giggles. Oh my God. Get somebody who's gonna be like again. I appreciate everyone who helped me with my short. Don't misunderstand me. Don't misquote me. I appreciate everything, but I want to get someone who's at least into cameras. To man my camera, I want to have someone help with directing because I don't want to do it. I want to be directed. Does that make any sense? Yes. I want this short. It's my short, but I want to be the actor. I don't want to be the producer. I don't want to be the director. I don't want to be none of that.
You want to be an artist.
I just want to finally take a role that I feel comfortable in doing. Right? Because I bad guys, right? I'm Hispanic, right? I play a gangbanger all the time, but I'm like, well, this is a different kind of bad guy. He's not your typical gangbanger. He's your crazy kind of.
He's your Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he's one of those, like slit your throat quietly kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm going for, and I'm happy about it. But I want to focus on that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna start looking to see if I can book some people to see if we can get this going.
How long is the script?
About 10 pages.
10 pages.
So I'm shooting for maybe a 18 to 20 minute short. It's like really like 4 scenes, right? Like four different scenes basically.
What you asking me for?
Because you read it, fucker.
Oh,
Oh, no, you didn't read it, did you?
Yeah, I read it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So it take about a day or two.
But it depends. Depends how many people you can get at the same time. You know? And if you can get them all at the same time.
That part.
That's the hard part, you know? Scheduling people, scheduling is important.
I'm out of town those 2 days.
Of course you
Sorry.
are. Of course you are. But nonetheless, any projects coming up for you?
Yeah, right now I'm looking to get one funded called Radicals. It's a story of an art student who has to live the legendary criminal life of his sister. So he's an art student, but now his life depends on living the life that his sister used to live.
Okay.
So we're working on just tightening up the script, and we're doing talks to getting a budget for that one for the first time ever. I've never partnered with anyone to finance any of my movies. So this is kind of exciting. It's called Radicals, though. And then after that, I have a completed script. It's 94 pages. It's a drama called Afterwards. It follows two women in their struggles with home life and trying to gain success in corporate America. So that's a lot of drama in that shit. It's a lot of drama.
Nice.
More or less probably a self-fund that one. And just producing content. I follow a few boxers in the area. I tend to go around and talk to businesses and put them on camera, get about 5 minutes and edit it and put it out there for them. So, I try to keep as busy as possible. If I'm not filming something for myself, more or less would like to be on other projects with people, doing some sound.
Got a sound guy.
Yeah,
we got a sound guy. How much you charge? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
But yeah, so
case of Corona.
We
no,
it's
not gonna do it.
But yeah, more or less doing a lot of sound stuff. And people don't know. Remember, I told you I started doing all this stuff, making music. I'm working on an hour-long dance mix, which you can partially see, hear some of it on my YouTube page. About 14 minutes worth of some stuff I'm working on. But man, I make some slamming dance music.
Nice.
So that's,
you got your finger in a lot of pies there, buddy.
Yeah, and it just
you don't like that. You don't like that. Fingers in a lot of pies. Come on.
I don't know about that one.
So yeah, man, I consider myself a creative ball of energy.
That's awesome.
I create a lot of stuff, and I'm like you. I don't want to wear a lot of hats when it comes to production. So I'm looking to work with a variety of different people moving forward and gain these relationships, gain this experience, get quality content, and just keep pushing, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's kind of like what what I want to do. I mean, obviously, I'm a little slower. Like I kind of, like I said, I'm one project at a time, super hard, and like then I got to take a break.
Yeah,
and I got to relax, and then maybe I'll do another one. Then this podcast, takes a lot of time and effort on my part, right, John?
Yes,
on my part. You're just a talent, right? You're just a talent over there.
Sit here and crack jokes every once in a while.
Actually, you know what? You do have. I will give you all the credit in the world. You do add a couple pretty funny moments in every podcast.
Yeah, John, you good.
You do add. You do have a couple good ones, like the one last week with the Arnold voice with the Maria, and you're like, I know he doesn't look like me, but that's not the point. That was pretty fucking funny. Man. See, you should grab that and put that on TikTok, bro.
I didn't even watch that.
You know what? That was fucking funny.
I didn't watch that part.
That TikTok stuff, man. I'm still trying to get with it, man.
You know what you got to get with?
What?
What is it, NFTs? Is that what it's called? NFTs, right?
Yeah.
That's where the money at.
NFTs.
Yeah, so like it's like these little electronic trading cards that people buy now. They spend a shit ton of money. So I'm gonna have a guest in May. It's one of my best friends' brother.
Is he coming?
Yeah.
We might have to expedite him.
He made, I'm not gonna say how much he's made, but he made a shit ton of money making NFTs.
You know what? I've heard that and just in one ear out the other.
I think that happened to everybody.
Yeah, me too.
Until he told me how much he made.
We're gonna bring him on, so he's gonna try to break it down for us a little bit. So maybe we can all make a little bit of money while the money's still hot.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I appreciate you coming. spending some time with us. Anywhere, any social media people can find you?
Absolutely. So you all can catch up with me on YouTube. Check out my YouTube. It's Corn Music 73, but music is spelled MUSIQ. So Corn Music 73. That's my YouTube, and then I can be reached on my IG at Sibi Media. I don't know if you can see the shirt, but Sibi Media. It's SIBI Media on IG. And also my name, Cornell Ford, is on IG, all one word, Cornell Ford all together, IG. And then you can check me out on Facebook at Cornell Ford, same thing. See It, Be It Films, which is what SIBI stands for, See It, Be It. So if you want to go on Facebook, you can check out that page, is See It, Be It Films on Facebook. And lastly, my website is www.sibimedia.com. When you go on Sibi Media, you can see all of my short films, all of my full-length films. We had a couple of comedy specials on there, and some content. So it's a site that's growing. My upcoming project, What Mama Says, is dropping May 1st, and it'll be on the website as well, maybe 2 weeks after we do a premiere. But yeah, that's me. You can follow me on those platforms. I really appreciate everybody. Make sure you all subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. I really appreciate everybody. And also, too, guys, I want to say that Miguel, this is what y'all doing is really cool, man. I mean, y'all grew really fast.
I appreciate it.
Really fast. I'm glad I met you too, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm shocked myself that we grew so fast.
Yeah. So it just goes to show how, when you got something in your mind that you want to put out there and you socialize with the right people, stuff like this happens.
Yeah, you just gotta. I think the whole concept is, you gotta take the first step and stick with it. I think a lot of people get discouraged really quickly and kind of, they're looking for results and they don't see the results that they want and they quit. Yeah, and they quit or whatever. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. You never know. I mean, somewhere, someone likes what you're doing. Someone's gonna subscribe. Somebody else will like it or whatever. Blah blah blah.
For us, it's everybody in Turkey.
Yeah, for us, it's everyone across the pond.
Yeah.
That's love though.
Hey, that's love. I'm cool with it. I mean, it is what it is. Again, I didn't think I was gonna get like 5 subscribers. So I mean, the fact that we got a little over 5,000,
that's awesome.
I can't even imagine it. Honestly, I never thought we'd be here in this place, blah, 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 blah. So I'm humbled in your house. Yeah, in your house.
Appreciate you coming.
But did you have a good time?
Oh man. Shit. Hopefully when later on in the year I'll come back.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely come back.
Absolutely. John, you got anything else?
Just waiting for the weather to get better so I can go running in skimpy shorts in my new neighborhood.
Oh, but wait, now you can go
laugh at me.
Now you can go to the gym without having to show your vaccination card in the whole night.
Yeah,
Aren't you
that's
happy
true.
about that?
Oh
yeah.
Man, I'm so glad that stuff is over, man.
Right?
Well, not really over, but
we're making progress.
We're making progress.
That's what's important.
Yeah,
it'll get there.
But anyways, again, I appreciate you for coming down. We definitely will have you back anytime you want. Cool. All right, guys. That's going to be our show for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion, and if you don't agree with it, you can suck it.